Alright, so I will be doing Bruce Robertson from Filth. A little bit of a disclaimer, going by mostly the movie, because it revolves around more of the psychology. Even the director has said this, and the author of the book it's based off, Irvin Welsh. Also, spoilers, though. I will be going from some material from the book that, the movie didn't go over, but let's just kind of get into it. First, the summary for people who haven't seen Filth, because it's not that popular of a film, but it is really good. Fun fact, it's connected to the movie Trainspotting. Little fun fact. Basically what happens is Bruce Robertson is a detective sergeant at the Scottish Police Department. He has a sexy wife named Carol. She likes to go out. You never see her and him in the same room because, in her words, she likes to tease him. But anyways, there's an Asian man who is murdered by this group of British hoodlums, I guess, and Carol sees it and just tells him stop. But then, they kind of go over it. He is in the running to be a police or detective inspector. So instead of seeing this as an actual murder case, he sees this as a chance for promotion, unlike his co-workers. His best friend, Clifford Blades, is this smart guy with big glasses. This is mine. I'm going to take this off. Who is very rich and takes him on this trip. And then he comes back and is late because he was having a depressive episode and gets taken off the case, and he's very angry about this. And what else happens? He prank calls Clifford Blade's wife, and prank calls her as like this teenager, and he does all this crazy stuff, and he has like affairs with his co-workers' wives, including Clifford, and like a lot of other stuff. Profile, he appears to be mid-30s, sergeant detective, like I said, married, and has a daughter named Stacy. Bad childhood, known to be a manipulating, misanthropic, alcoholic, drug-addicted, misogynist, womanizer. And that's him. That's the guy who I look like. He always has a drink in his hand, or he's always smoking, or he's always doing cocaine from this thing that he has. I don't know what it is. Things to know. In the book, like I said, it stated that he had more than one tapeworm, so it might be a reason for psychological disorder. Also, it might be because as a child he killed his younger brother by pushing him off a coal mountain, but it's not clear if it's intentional or not. It might be because, and in one of the hallucinations, the doctor, and it's down there, but he's like, oh yeah, Davy, everybody loved Davy, and then there was you, the other laddie. His wife left with their daughter, but Bruce doesn't remember. He has no memory of them leaving, and it could possibly be psychogenic amnesia. He does remember it, but he doesn't. In a hallucination of his, it's stated why she left. She cheated on him, and left. Mostly, probably because of his drug addiction, drinking, and doing all the crazy stuff. His disorders, he's bipolar. He goes to a doctor and is given lithium carbonate, which is treatment for bipolar disorder. Yes, dissociative identity disorder. I'll explain that. And he has cocaine addiction, alcohol addiction, and sex addiction. And there's some stats right there. Bipolar kind of going in there. It's also called manic depression. And this kind of goes over it. with both bipolar and DID, it can be confused as schizophrenia, and I could totally understand if someone diagnosed him with schizophrenia, but I did not diagnose him because I think it's just the bipolar disorder and DID coming together and making it seem like it's schizophrenia. But he is canonically, I think that's how you pronounce it, have bipolar disorder. They don't really go much into his DID, but I'll kind of get into it. But his mania, and I hope you guys do know what bipolar is, but his mania is usually of anger, irritation, happiness, or a bit of everything, and it's followed by depression. After hallucination, always he goes into a state of depression. There's some symptoms right there. There's one moment where his coworker tries to confront him, and he's yelling, and then he's like, "I'm so sorry," and then he starts yelling again, and then he starts crying, and then he starts yelling at her and calling her, awful names. It's really crazy. Some of his hallucination, he has more, and it's usually kind of a literary device, because Gus, his coworker, who is old, is seen as an elephant because he's wrinkly and stuff. And then there's Amanda, the one I mentioned earlier. He sees her as an evil witch, or something that rhymes with witch. And then he sees himself, a cop, a pig, someone who is an actual pig because he does all these crazy stuff. And one that isn't of an animal, there's some more, but is of his little brother, Davy. And you can see him, that's a set photo. I couldn't get a screenshot, but he sees him, tries to talk to him, but he never responds. There's a YouTube video, but I don't have enough time to show it, but it basically sees the doctor, and he's messed up, and he has like a big head and crazy hair, and looks so crazy, and he has these pills, and he's like, bigger bottle, bigger pills for bigger problems, and like, Bruce Robertson is definitely an ideal choice for this project because he has so many disorders and messed up things about him. Dissociative identity disorder. When his wife left and he lost his memory, the only way to cope with this is for her to become part of him. In the beginning, she says she starts the film, and it's her getting dressed and talking about her relationship with Bruce, and she's like, "Oh, we're never really apart, no matter the distance, no matter what, we're always apart. I kid you not." And later, you hear him say, "I kid you not, my friend." I can't do a Scottish accent. I wish I could, but I can't. But he says that, and it's kind of a little hint saying, "Hey, But this kind of explains it. You can see him as Carol. There's a flash. Well, when we find out that him and her are the same person, it's when the gang of hoodlums that killed the Asian man kidnaps him because he was the one that saw them, not Carol. And he realizes this, and you get flashbacks. He doesn't realize it, but we, the audience, do, and we see it. And we're seeing him with shots that was previously, because she narrated in the book and in the movie, and there's one point where she's in the middle and she's looking very attractive, but she's kind of around these freaks, and it looks like it's about to be kind of I hate to say it, but orgy. And she's like, "Look at all these freaks, but they all want me. I'm the normal one." And it turns out she's the biggest freak of them all, because she's not she. He doesn't also, he's still in her, this is very complicated, but he's getting beaten crap out of while he's Carol. And he's like, "My husband is the detective sergeant, and he'll come for me," and because he's still in Carol and he thinks he's Carol. And then they're like, you fairy." I'm sorry, that's what they said. I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend. And and then it's really crazy. And then finally, this guy beats her and puts the wig back on him. He's like, "You're very pretty," and like kisses her, and then he bites his lip almost off, and but she kisses back. It's weird. I don't know. But then Bruce comes back and he's like, "Don't you touch her," still thinking they're two different people. But after this, once he throws him out of the window because he tried to get raped. The second time, actually. He got raped earlier. I never mentioned that. But he did. And recently, actually. But he threw him out the window, and he realizes what he's done with the killing, and also realizing his problem that he thinks he's somebody else. So, yeah, those are some symptoms. And with the promotion and her leaving, this was a complete mental breakdown. So he's gone crazy. Another way of coping was his many addictions. When Clifford Blade comes to his house, this was right before Christmas Eve, because this is when it's at. He comes to his house and like, "Hey, I'm gonna be leaving. Here's kind of like a bottle of whiskey to be like, hey, old chap, Merry Christmas," kind of thing. And he sits down and he sees these bottles of empty booze. And Bruce is like, "Ah, man, I really missed you," kind of a depressant. And he's like, "Yeah, I miss you too." And he gets kind of, "But you're going to stay here tonight and we're going to have so much fun and we're going to drink and everything." And he's like, I have to go." And he's like, "No, you're going to stay here." And it's really weird. And he sits down and he's Clifford Blades and he's singing all this and he's singing all these booze. Oh, also, did I mention he drugged him while they were on vacation together? Another messed up thing. But yeah, you can see this. And many of the officers, such as Ray Lennox, who is Bruce's partner, does, coke and these crazy things. And he has affairs with coworkers' wives and even prostituting as, Carol. And he has an affair with, I think, 2.5. There's one that was kind of like a love interest to one of them, and he kind of stole it. By kind of exploiting this guy's weakness of his, manhood. The ending. This was actually really crazy to me. Usually people leave a suicide note, but he left a suicide video to Clifford Blade saying, "Hey, I'm really sorry. These are things I've done. Here's to get back with your wife, Bonte." And his last words, because you'll see here. Wait, yeah, he hangs himself, but he says, "Same words apply. Same rules apply." I'm sorry. And you hear that 3 times before, and there's actual meaning. The first time I saw this, I had to watch it 2 times. But the first time I saw it, it meant he knew he was a criminal. He knew he prank called his best friend's wife. He beat the crap out of his best friend because he tried to throw the blame on him and say, "Hey, he was the one that did it." He did all these crazy things, coke, all these things. And he decided to kill himself because he knows he's, a criminal. So, yeah, and that's how they end it. They also end it with, like, this cartoon with the animal heads and all that. And it's really crazy. And these are my citations. A lot of this was from the movie and my interpretation of it. But this is a crazy movie. I would not recommend watching it with your family, but by yourself, because there's a lot of psychology involved and just a lot of good plot and good acting, and it's intense, and it's a perfect character for this project.